Hello, welcome to Biography TV. If you're new here, please subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss our next video. Biography of Dedan Kimathi Waciuri. I have no doubt in my mind that the British are determined to execute me. I have committed no crime. My only crime is that I am a Kenyan revolutionary who led a liberation army. Now, if I must leave you and my family, I have nothing to regret about. My blood will water the tree of independence. Those were the words of Dedan Kimathi to his wife just before his execution. Viewed by some as a bloodthirsty violent terrorist and by others as a hero nationalist and freedom fighter, Dedan Kimathi is nonetheless a legend as far as Kenya's history is concerned. Kimathi was born in the village of Thegi on the 31st of October 1920. Sadly, his father died just a month before his birth, leaving his mother to raise him. When he was 15, he began his education at the local primary school Karuna Ini. His secondary education was at the CMS school Tumutumu. He had good language skills, perfecting the English language quickly. He would later put this skill to use, writing extensively before and during the Mau Mau uprising. He was a member of the debate club in his secondary school, and Kimathi was known to resist attempts at controlling or disciplining him. Hence, he was always in trouble with the school authorities. Consequently, he drifted in and out of education. In 1940, Kimathi got enlisted in the British Army but lasted only a month before he was discharged allegedly for drunkenness and violence against his fellow recruits. He took up various other jobs but didn't fare any better. He was dismissed as a primary school teacher after accusations of violence against his pupils. In the late 1940s, Kimathi came into contact with members of the Kenya African Union (KAU) while working in Old Kalou. By 1950, he had become the secretary of the KAU branch at Old Kalou, which was controlled by militant supporters of the Mau Mau cause. The Mau Mau began as the Kenya Land and Freedom Army (KLFA), which sought to reclaim land which the British settlers had gradually stripped away from them. With time, the group's influence and membership grew, becoming a big threat to the colonial government. After taking the oath of the Mau Mau, Kimathi joined the 40 Group, the militant wing of the defunct Kikuyu Central Association. There, Kimathi presided over oath-taking ceremonies, incorporating beatings as part of the ceremonies. He was known to carry a double-barreled shotgun in those oath-taking ceremonies. Because of his activities within the group, he became a target of the government and was subsequently arrested in 1951. But soon after, he escaped with the help of local police. This was the beginning of his violent uprising. In 1953, he established the Kenya Defense Council to coordinate all forest fighters. 32 settlers and about 100 British soldiers were killed by the Mau Mau, but many of Kimathi's most brutal attacks were on members of the Kikuyu tribe, the largest ethnic group in Kenya, who remained loyal to the colonial administration. Many of them were hacked to death for defying Kimathi. Those who joined were subject to horrific initiation ceremonies which reportedly included drinking human blood, urine and semen, and sometimes eating human flesh. Kimathi's brutality to his own side led to many deserters informing on him to Ian Henderson, the officer in charge of the manhunt. One of such informants was quoted as, "Nobody has helped the government as much as Kimathi, and for that reason, he should be given a salary. He has killed more Mau Mau than any member of the security forces." Kimathi was the subject of many manhunts, being the most important rebel to the British colonial administration. As such, Ian Henderson dedicated his work to capturing or killing Kimathi. Henderson's hunt for Kimathi was greatly aided by deserters from within Kimathi's force who have been at the receiving end of his brutal enforcement of discipline. On the 21st of October 1956, Kimathi was shot in the leg and captured by an askari called Ndirangu. With his capture, the forest wars soon began to decline. He was sentenced to death by an all-black Kenyan jury presided over by Chief Justice O'Connor. He was in hospital when the sentence was passed. Though he appealed, the sentence was upheld. In the early morning of February 18, 1957, he was executed by hanging at the Kimathi Maximum Security Prison and buried in an unmarked grave. It was 62 years after his death that his gravesite was identified at the Kimathi prison grounds. This was reported by the Dedan Kimathi Foundation on the 25th of October 2019. Kimathi was married to Mukami Kimathi, and they had several children including Waciuri and Maina, the sons, Nyawira and Wanjugu, the daughters. In 2009, the Kenyan government constructed a 3-bedroom house for Mukami and provided her with a vehicle for personal use. On the 11th of November 2003, the Kibaki government formally registered the Mau Mau movement, revoking the colonial-era legislation that had outlawed the organization and branded its members terrorists. Previous governments of Kenya had largely refused to recognize Kimathi in any way. A 2.1-meter bronze statue of Dedan Kimathi was erected and unveiled in central Nairobi on the 18th of February 2007. It was the 50th anniversary of his execution. President Kibaki said of Kimathi that he paid the ultimate price for Kenya's liberation and also inspired others to resist oppression. Also, on the 12th of September 2015, the British government funded and unveiled a Mau Mau memorial statue in Nairobi's Uhuru Park, calling the gesture a symbol of reconciliation between the British government, the Mau Mau, and all those who suffered. This came after a 2013 decision by Britain to compensate more than 5,000 Kenyans who were tortured and abused during the Mau Mau insurgency. Kimathi was held in very high regard by Nelson Mandela, the anti-apartheid leader of South Africa. 5 months after his release from prison, Mandela visited Nairobi, where he stated his admiration for Kimathi and other Mau Mau leaders who were sources of inspiration to him in his struggles against injustice. In a second visit 15 years later in 2005, he was able to meet Kimathi's widow and 2 of his children. What have we missed out of this biography of Kimathi? Let's know in the comment section. Will it be ridiculous to subscribe to our channel? If no, please like this video, share and subscribe to our channel.